Well, again, everybody, hope you are well on this Friday afternoon. It is Good Friday, and this Sunday is Resurrection Sunday. I have several things I will cover. This video won't be too long, but I wanted to mention a few things I think that are very important. First, the criminals are getting younger and younger, and it's something I've kind of had a surface awareness of, but I haven't really given it much thought, so I'll go into that a little bit. Also, an update on the active shooter that was going on at Florida State University yesterday, and a question about Doge. Okay. Also, an update on the peace efforts from Ukraine, Russia. Also, a video that I'm in the process of watching, y'all. A friend of mine shared it with me, that I believe everybody should watch. It's longer. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I've been watching it in chunks on purpose. I could probably listen to it all pretty fairly quick, but I've been listening to it in about 15 to 20 minute chunks because I want to digest it. It's a lot of good information. It's very interesting. Can't prove that it's all true, but it sounds very credible. I'll go into that, but I think everybody should watch it. I'll give you a little more detail. I have a terrific passage I will share with you towards the end of this video. It's Good Friday, so you got to stay tuned for that one, right? The criminals are just, and it, like I said, it's something that I've kind of had a surface awareness of, and it's like, these are kids. And how many times are you hearing that, there's a debate, or, depending on where they got charged, if they get caught, how they're going to be charged as an adult. We used to never hear that. Did you ever remember hearing that back in the day? Like even 10, 15 years ago. I didn't remember hearing that. Like, a kid. The person's not even old enough to drive a car in most of these cases. It's straight up wickedness. It's straight up wickedness, evil, in my opinion. I can't explain it no other way. You can talk all day about family and upbringing and all that stuff. That's probably part of it. But the criminals are getting younger and younger. From the violence in the schools, to like the story out in Arizona where they're calling in the National Guard. They're talking about juvenile crime. This Panama City, these riots that are going on here and there, and these spring break where they tear up towns. It's all juveniles. It seems like they're all under 20. Some 15, some 13. 13, man. All I wanted to do when I was 13 is go to Six Flags over Georgia and ride the log ride and ride the roller coasters and play baseball and go see my friends and go spend the night at my buddy's house. That's all I wanted to do. Or when I was taking a ride with my dad and my brother, we would always want to stop and get, we'd go and run errands with the parents and all, and, let's take us by Red Lobster, feed us. Heck, we'll even, when we go fill up with gas, we'll run in if we can get us a Snickers bar and a Coca-Cola. And by the way, it didn't hurt us back then. We would stop and get full-size Snicker candy bars. I know we were young, of course. Snickers bar and a real Coke in a real bottle. And we were still slim. I don't know if you could call us skinny, but we were slim because we were young, of course, and we were active. But so were my parents. It was different then. They weren't heavy. They were tall, but they weren't heavy. We ate like real food. McDonald's even tasted better then. That was the thing. Anyway, I got on a tangent there. I don't know how I got on Snickers bars. Anyway, I must be hungry. But the 13 years old, 15 years old, you're hearing about these things. It's just beyond troubling. And I think we almost get desensitized to this because we hear it so much, that it's like, oh yeah, okay. But dang, it's wicked. So it's something to keep an eye out on. I mean, and I'm guilty of it. We're keeping our awareness up all the time, depending on where we are, and we see kids, and we see some teenagers. Like, there's some teenagers. We keep an eye on them too. I don't care how big they are. I don't care what color they are. I don't care what they're wearing. It don't matter. It don't matter. You gotta keep an eye on them too as well. It's evil. It's crazy. There was an instance I just saw today. A friend of mine that's local shared this with me. That in a local middle school, close to where we live, a middle school student was arrested for making terroristic threats on the school. Middle school. In middle school, y'all, I was just thinking about sports and what we're going to do in football practice and that, the girl that I was after, and wanting to ask, wanting to get, be boyfriend and girlfriend. I mean, that was my only concern. That was it. I mean, do our homework, of course, because my parents would get after me if I didn't. They were involved. Maybe that's part of it, No discipline, no guidance, role models. And it wasn't just discipline one time. It was like a tag team, man. Because my mom was first, and that was usually the worst. And then my dad would follow it up. And it's like, dang, man, again, a second time. Are you doing that again? Anyway, that might be too much information. But anyway, it just struck me. These criminals, it's not just adults. Florida State, speaking of which, Florida State University, I know when I reported this yesterday, I didn't have all the info, it was an ongoing story. It was, the last update I'd gotten yesterday was that there were no fatalities, but yes, it came out later. There were 2 fatalities, unfortunately, in this school shooting at Florida State University, Tallahassee, Florida. 2 lost their lives, 5 wounded. This is a 20-year-old, the perpetrator looks like a 20-year-old male, son of a sheriff's deputy. They made a big deal out of that, but, you can't always blame the parent. You just can't. And I think that was a stepmom. Not that should matter, but, 20-year-old male. 20-year-old male did this. Doge accountability is what I wrote out there. I love that there's they're finding all this stuff out, but I have a few questions. Mainly is who's going to be held accountable? With all the fraud. It's not just waste and abuse. It's straight out fraud, theft. Who is accountable? When are we going to see them held accountable? Not hold my breath on that. I'm being realistic here. Also, that talk about some refund checks and tax relief or whatever they're going to do, that got quiet, didn't it? That's just gone. That was like last year. It feels like it was last year or something already. Don't hold your breath on that one either. Kind of pisses me off. All right, on to better things, more positive. United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio warns that if it is not possible that there will be a brokered end to the Ukraine-Russia war, that the United States just needs to move on. I would agree. He made it clear. I watched a little update where he was talking to the press, and I've been impressed with him. I hadn't listened to Marco Rubio talk a lot over the years, but I mean, I've been impressed with the way he's articulated these updates and the information that he gives. He's no nonsense. He gives you the information you need without giving too much, if that makes sense. But he was like, this is not our war. We're just trying to help bring it to an end, to end all the violence and so many lost lives. It's awful. And, we're trying to broker this, but both sides, this has to be, it can't just be us wanting it to end. It's got to be the two parties involved wanting it to end as well, and be able to work something out. And he said, we'll know maybe in just a few days if this is going to work out, and if it's not, we got other priorities. We're going to do other stuff. We're done. Can't say I blame them. Now, that might be a tactic used to try to get the two back up, but who knows? But that's what I think they should. I wouldn't go. He said, we're not going to do this for months in a year. We're not going to do this. So I agree. I mean, do it or go back to your toys, and just get blasted by the Ruskies. I mean, because they ain't going to stop coming. They're not just going to stop. But anyway, the Z-Man, at some point, I believe that's the key. He needs to go away. Step down, go away somehow. All right. A video that I've been watching, y'all, it's a Tucker Carlson on his channel, Tucker Carlson YouTube channel. He's got an interview with Curt Weldon. This guy used to be a member of Congress back some years ago, but was apparently in the know on a lot of stuff. And like I said, it's a long video. I'm only about halfway through it, so I'm not gonna give verdicts and what I really think, but it's super interesting. A lot of information, a lot of very interesting information, and I can, even though I've only watched about half of it, I can tell you, it's talking a lot about 9/11, the truth around 9/11. Man, y'all, and what they knew before it happened, before the attacks happened, and I'll stop there. But it doesn't totally shock me. It really doesn't. But it just shows you how deep the corruption and the outright just bad people at high levels. And it makes you question, who's in charge, who's really running things. And the president doesn't know everything necessarily. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But it was pretty much, stuff back then. But he also has some interesting comments about, I'll just say, fast-moving cancer. Fast-moving cancers. Y'all. Whew. All right. But anyway, I'm not going to do a link on it. I'm just going to say Tucker Carlson, his YouTube video. YouTube, go to his channel, you look at his videos, and it'll be the interview with Curt Weldon. You'll see it. It's fairly recent. But I think everyone should watch that. And if you're like, dog, I can't watch an hour and a half. I get it. I don't either. But if you just watch it in, even if you just watch it in 10-minute intervals, 10, 15 minutes, and just pick back up. For me, that's easier for me to like I said, to digest and understand, and it's just easier for me. I don't know about y'all. I'm gonna go to a passage because it is Good Friday, and I do a passage anyway, I know, but Good Friday, Holy Week. We're in John, of course. I've been staying in John from the words of Jesus. We're in John chapter 15, verse 12 and 13. From the words of Jesus. This is my commandment, that you love one another just as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that a person will lay down his life for his friends. Amen. And say it again. Greater love has no one than this, that a person will lay down his life for his friends. Amen. Amen. And when somebody makes a sacrifice, and you hear when somebody sacrifices themselves to try to save somebody, we're in awe, when we hear those stories. And but it's extra special when it's Jesus, because he didn't sin. He's God in the flesh. He made the sacrifice. He allowed it. So we can be forgiven. So, We have that chance, redemption. We just got to grab a hold of it and have faith. Follow him. Stay close to him. All right, let's remember that. Just a reminder. Let's continue to be preparing. Go about your business. Just be alert. If you like the video, hit the like button. It helps us out. If you think somebody would benefit from this, feel free to share it. But anyway, let's be careful out there. God bless y'all. I'll see you soon.